I'm joking. I'm joking.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
How is everybody doing today? A lot of sports. So many sports. I mean, I honestly am discombobulated where to even start. That's how much sports has gone on within the last 2 to 3 days. That's just very newsworthy. As you can see, I got my boy Stat Guy, and then I got my boy from Unscripted, my brother from another mother. You can see the family resemblance, the hairline, Frankie, the Yankee. What's up, Frankie? What's up, Dustin? Say what's up to the peoples. Oh, my bad. Stat Guy, I forgot. We had the same hairline, too, so you're in the club as well. We all three had the same hairline. Awesome. This should be the hairline from Florida club.
This is ASAP in the morning, hairline loss edition.
And that's how we roll, man. And that's how we roll. No, for real, guys. Hey, Dustin, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, Jay. How are you?
Man, I'm good. The wife is at work. I have a house to myself. Me and Blue had a couple of beers a few minutes ago before the show. So we're all pretty well medicated. I'm pretty sure, being the fact that Frankie's not showing himself like we were saying earlier, he is in a plume of white cloud smoke of weed because in his life, it's 420 every day.
You ain't wrong there. But you having a couple of beers this early in the morning, there's something going on there with you and Blue.
Hey, listen, if you don't know, man, that's my carbs. That's how I get my carbs in the morning, man. So leave me alone. Hey, listen, guys, lots of stuff going on in sport. I don't really know where to start, man. Let's start off with the elephant in the room, man. What's going on with these NBA fans? Honestly, what's going on with them? I mean, you got Chris Paul over here, they're putting hands on his mom, they're pushing his wife. The kids are witnessing everything. I mean, matter of fact, it was so bad at one point when the relatives, when the wife and the mom would go up the stands to go get whatever, I guess, concessions they were getting purchased or whatever, that they were being followed up the stairs. I mean, is this where we've gone as a human society, that we're just harassing and putting hands on players' mothers? I mean, as fans, are we at that level? That's crazy to me. Dustin, what do you think, man?
That's what alcohol and sports do. So, I mean, the more you drink, the worse you get, and fans have been getting worse and worse over the last decade. And I think a big part of this goes back, 16, 17 years when the Detroit Pistons and the Indiana Pacers got in that fight where Ron Artest went in the crowd and did what he did. And now you kind of see, since that happened, it seems like every year fans are just getting worse and worse because fans don't like being talked to the way some of the players have talked to the fans before, because in sports, you're going to get heckled by fans. It's part of the atmosphere. It's part of the environment. So that's something that fans have always done. But when players want to kind of start going out of their way to heckle you back, it's going to escalate at some point. And I think fans now are getting carried away just because they know going after a player's family is going to get under their skin. And if you get under a player's skin enough, they're going to struggle.
I mean, that's true. But, Frankie, at what point do we draw the line, or as a human society, at what point do we draw the line and say heckling is one thing, but putting hands on somebody's family is another? I mean, have we just gone so far off the rails as people that we're at that level? I get what that guy said, alcohol, and I know alcohol can do a lot of crazy things to people, but has it just gotten that bad?
Yeah, it's gotten way worse, and it's getting even worse. Something obviously needs to change in the NBA, and it's not just NBA. To say we have situations, well, not with players and fans, with NFL, because the NFL field is farther away from the fans and stuff like that, and from the players. But kind of baseball, when you got fans that are out there, yelling at the players in the outfield and stuff like that, and the players get an altercation with the fans, and same thing with the basketball. I mean, I thought we would have seen something change after the Russell Westbrook incident, saying, the fans are threatening his family and stuff on social media and everything like that. I thought things would change after that, but for them to get this serious and try to put their hand on Chris Paul's mother and his wife, that's something totally different. Like, I stand behind Chris Paul, and I think that kid should have got beat the hell up. I mean, you should never, ever try. I mean, having an altercation with a basketball player is one thing, but getting a man's family involved, especially on Mother's Day, that dude he should have got kicked. He should have got punched. He should have got everything. He should have got everything, honestly. And it's sickening. It is sickening because this is coming from the Dallas Mavericks fan base. Jay, this is your home of Dallas. I'm not gonna say Dallas, but Texas area. This is your people's. This is your people's, brother. It's making you look real bad now because you're from Houston, Texas.
And that's the thing, man. I mean, the worst part about it, you're right. And I guess it didn't even dawn on me about that, but you're right, man. The worst part about it is Mother's Day. Like, how do you harass a mother and put hands on a mother when it's freaking Mother's Day? I mean, you should never put hands on people, but I'm just saying, like, and then you throw Mother's Day on top of that, and you're dealing with females. I mean, I don't know. The fan was obviously taking it out of the game, whatever. They didn't say if it was a male or a female. I'm going to assume it's a male.
It was a male. It was a male. It was a young boy. I saw a video of it. He was getting escorted out by security and stuff like that. He was with his mother at the game as well. So imagine if a fan would have turned it around and started like touching his mother for, like a big Chris Paul fan, like, oh, you're gonna hit his mother or touch his mother and his wife. Oh, you're with your mother in the stands, and then they start doing stuff to his mother. How's that gonna make him feel?
Yeah, hopefully that fan wouldn't go and be classless like that guy's classless. I mean, hopefully the other guy has enough common sense and just. But it's right, man. I get the point you're making, man. I mean, I just think
he's not allowed back in any games. He's not going to be.
Oh, well, I mean, honestly though, he should be arrested. I mean, that's assault. He should be in jail. On simple battery or whatever the case may be. I mean, it should be more than just getting kicked out forever. I mean, there's definitely some criminal charges, I think, in my opinion, that should be filed on that. I think anytime you put hands on somebody, that's a criminal act, in my opinion.
And Chris Paul followed up when the kid was getting escorted. This isn't even a guy, Jay and Stat. This isn't a guy. This is a kid. At least late teenage years, if anything. This was a kid that did this. So,
oh wow.
So
I see Juvenile Hall in his future. Welcome to Juvie, baby.
Exactly. In the video, Chris Paul had went up to. He's trying to get through the security. He's trying to get through the players. He's trying to get to the kid's face. He didn't get as close as he wanted, but he got close to him when they were escorting him out. And Chris Paul did say, and I quote, "I'll see you after this," unquote. So best believe that kid was running away after he got escorted out of that building. Because if a basketball player like Chris Paul telling me I'll see you after this, I'm gone. I'm not dealing with that.
No, I wouldn't deal with it. And like Chris Paul said, and I really agree with his take on this, and I don't know how you could, if a fan does that to a player and the player reacts, the player's getting fined.
Oh, yeah, they're getting fined.
You know what I'm saying?
They get fired.
But when the fan is in the wrong, I mean, I get he gets ejected, but I think more should have happened. I don't blame Chris Paul, man. Hey, you touch my family, I'm coming after you too, man. Let's just be honest. And I think that's anybody's reaction. I don't think anybody's just going to stand by and watch their women, get put hands on. I mean, nobody's going to do that. But anyway, my opinion is, and it's not even in the NBA, Frankie. It's in baseball. Hey, Frankie, I'm not going to throw you under the bus, but the Yankees weren't exactly treating the players all that great either.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said earlier, I'm like, we could see altercations like this in baseball and in basketball. With baseball, like you said, Jay, for instance, with the Yankees when we played the Cleveland Guardians, we beat the Cleveland Guardians so bad that there was a player on the Guardians that jumped on the fence to get into the face of Yankee fans. And as a New Yorker, I'm gonna be real with you guys. New York sticks together. So if you're gonna get in somebody's face in New York, you're going to get the entire fan base of New York after you. And after the game, that's what happened with New York. They started throwing trash at the players because the players kept talking smack and getting in the face of Yankee fans and everything like that. It's just ridiculous. And like Stat Guy said, it all comes down to drinking too. I mean, I don't know if they're serving like those tall boys for, they need to stop serving the tall boys, go a little bit smaller so people can start handling themselves a little bit better at games and stuff like that, because clearly them buying 2, 3, maybe even 4 tall boys a beer at the concession stands is not doing it. They're getting way too drunk and they're getting way too reckless. So,
oh yeah, look, if you're serving tall boys at a stadium, you're just asking for trouble because people are gonna get crazy. It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
And they're drinking before the game in the parking lot, tailgate parties. They're drinking out there. They're getting drunk before even getting into the stadium.
Man, you know what? I remember back in the day, Frank, and I'm pretty sure you remember too, the fans at one point, and I can't remember what stadium it was, but there were fans throwing batteries and stuff at players.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
You remember that? They were throwing batteries. I mean, dude, you get hit by a battery, man, that's going to hurt, man. Crazy. Well, hopefully, I don't think it's going to get better. I think it's going to get worse. But, and then it's even in UFC. I can't remember who it was that won, but there was a female fan that jumped on the cage and was trying to climb into the octagon. And security had to drag her butt down, and they threw her onto the floor.
Yeah, they're doing it everywhere, man. They're doing it everywhere. They even do it with wrestling, where you have random fans that run into the ring and they start trying to fight other wrestlers or tackle other wrestlers. I went to WWE Hall of Fame back in 2019 before WrestleMania 35, and I've witnessed Bret the Hitman Hart get tackled by a fan at the Hall of Fame ceremony when he was getting inducted as the Hart Foundation with Jim Manville Neidhart, rest in peace. He got tackled in front of his niece Natalia, and if everybody was watching on the WWE Network at the time, the entire network went black because of that incident. So it happens everywhere. It happened recently at Dave Chappelle's show when somebody jumped on the stage and tackled Dave Chappelle. So it happens all around, not just in sports.
I think just people in general have lost their minds. It's crazy. All right, we're going to move on. Hey, let's talk about a little bit of playoff action. What's up with Stat Guy? I'm going to start with you. What's up with the Phoenix Suns, man? They done lost 2 games in a row. Obviously, I guess Paul had his issues. He barely shot 4 shots. He only put up 7 points on 5 of 5 on the rebound and assists. And Booker gave you 35. I mean, he was the one that actually showed up. Doncic had a pretty good game at 26 with 11 assists and 7 rebounds. Finney Smith showed up at 24, 8, and 1. I mean, Dallas played really, really well. Everybody showed up for Dallas. Not a whole lot of people showed up really in terms of Phoenix. But yeah, man, and obviously you can see it at the 3-point line, Stat Guy. I mean, I think the margin was like 20-9. It was insane. Paul got into foul trouble, as we all know. I think he had 3 in the first half, so he was obviously discombobulated from the get-go. Monty Williams said maybe he shouldn't have put him in quite so soon after he got those first 2 initial fouls. But man, what do you think, Stat Guy? I mean, is Dallas for real? Because a lot of people have said, okay, Dallas will get 1, but that's it. It's going to be 5. Now we're looking at 6. I mean, is it going to go 7? And can Dallas pull it out and take down the mighty Phoenix Suns?
I think Dallas can pull it out. And like I said a couple weeks ago, Golden State's going to come out of the Western Conference. And I've been saying that for like the last month, that as good as Phoenix has played all season long, they peaked They peaked.
Oh, don't worry, Frankie. I'm getting to you.
They peaked too early in the season for me, in my opinion. And when you look at if you look at the Eastern Conference compared to the Western Conference, Phoenix had everything wrapped up pretty much with a month left in the season. So heading into that last month of the regular season, Phoenix really didn't have anything to play for because they had their division clinched. They had the number 1 seed clinched. And at that point, they could pretty much take it easy their final 10 to 12 games to try to stay healthy versus everybody else in the East had to play their starters the entire rest of the way because the top 4 seeds in the East were separated by just 2 games. So you knew you had to play for something that entire last month of the season versus Phoenix had everything wrapped up. And I think a lot of times teams that clinch too early are the ones that get affected the most in the playoffs because they take it easy that final month of the season because they have nothing to play for. I know Devin Booker was hurt in that first round against New Orleans, but Phoenix didn't look good against New Orleans. Even when Devin Booker played those first couple of games, New Orleans gave Phoenix all they could handle, and they did that without Zion and without really anybody outside of the people they had. So the fact that they won 6 games with New Orleans should have been a red flag from the get-go, and now they're tied 2-2 with Dallas, so they're going 6 games regardless of what happens the next 2 games. They're going 6 games with Dallas. If they play this way,
they still got one more game in Dallas.
If they get through this series and get to the conference finals and they continue to play the way they did, they're going to be lucky to win 1 game against Golden State or Memphis, because Golden State or Memphis is going to take Phoenix out back and beat them by the woodshed, because those teams, when those teams are on, and you saw with Golden State this weekend, 142-112, there's not a team in the NBA that's going to stop Golden State when they play the way they did this weekend.
Oh, I agree. Believe me, I agree. And Frankie, here's my question for you, man. What's interesting to me is, so obviously we get Brooks back. All right, so when I say we, I'm talking about the Phoenix Suns, not my team. Calm down. Because I know where Frankie's going to take that. So, yeah, because I know how this show works. Listen, the Phoenix Suns lose Ja Morant on what they say was breaking the code towards Poole. And they say Poole, and if you watch it, Poole did grab and jerk on the knee of Morant, which in my opinion, he can say it's not dirty, but I think it was a little bit dirty. I do. And the same thing with when what's his name slapped Peyton the second. When Brooks slapped Peyton the second, there was a wind up there, slap to the head. I call that a little dirty too. They said there was no dirty intent. I don't know if it was intent, but it was a little dirty on both sides of the ball. Both of them broke the code. But here's the deal: Peyton is gone for the period. I don't know how long Ja Morant. He's definitely out game 4.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie, he's definitely out game 4. So I think, and let's be honest, not that Peyton is not a big loss for Golden State, but let's be honest, Ja Morant is a huge loss for the Memphis Grizzlies. And that's if he comes back game 5. What if he doesn't come back at all, Frankie? Does this now diminish? And maybe your prediction wasn't quite so good after all. Frankie.
Well, I'm going to say, Golden State has a stronger chance now to end the series with Memphis now that Ja Morant is gone, depending on how long he's going to be gone for. The jerk on the knee that Poole did, it is kind of dirty, but it didn't look that serious to me unless he did it harder than what, they made it look like it looked on TV. I mean, I don't know. Ja Morant was limping around and stuff like that. He doesn't have a knee brace. I don't think he has to require surgery. I just think he probably had a little, his knee's probably just a little bit hurting. But I don't know, him being out game 4 just shows me that Memphis just wants to rest his knee, his knee to be 100%. Because no doubt about it, Memphis could take this series into 7 games and still win it. I'm still gonna stick behind Memphis. I'm still gonna stick behind my prediction since November, and I'm gonna say that the Memphis Grizzlies turn it around. They come back and they win it in 7 games when Ja Morant comes back in game 5. Like I said, this is the year that Memphis looks like they can win it all. Earlier in the year, they didn't have Ja Morant. They were winning games, so I'm hoping that they can turn it around and do that. And I think the reason why Memphis couldn't win it that game against Golden State is because Ja Morant got hurt. He got put in the locker room. He wasn't on the bench, telling people what's going on, telling people what to do. He wasn't being the leader of the team because he wasn't out there. I feel like if Ja Morant, if he's going to be hurt and he's not playing, at least with him on the bench, he can see and visualize okay, I see what you guys are doing wrong. This is what you guys need to fix up on. This is what you guys need to do. Maybe that can change something. Maybe the Golden State Warriors would have never scored 145 because that's insane to score 145 in the playoffs, especially
it is. That is insane.
The Grizzlies. So I don't think that's going to happen again. I just think it happened because Ja Morant was in the locker room and not leading his team on the bench or on the court. Hopefully game 4 is a little bit different. Man, I really need Golden State. I really need Golden State to lose this series. I want Memphis. I need Memphis to win it, and I don't care if Memphis loses in the Western Conference Finals because that's not my prediction. My prediction was that they will make it to the Western Conference Finals, not make it to the finals. I just want Golden State to lose this series. But like Stat Guy said, if there's no John Morant, there's not going to be no Memphis Grizzlies in the Western Conference Finals.
Heat 76ers, man. Hey, 116-108. Series is tied up at 2 apiece. They've gotten back-to-back wins now that Embiid has come home. Harden, for the love of God, finally shows up. He goes 8 of 18, 6 with 10 points, or 10 assists, 6 of 10, 6 of 10 at the three-point line. 31, 7 of 9 was his stat line. Embiid gives you 7 of 13, 24, 11 and 2. The team shot 54%, which was amazing. Butler gave you 40, just wasn't enough. Adebayo chipped in 21 with 7. And they went 7 of 35 at the three-point line. And the first half, they got 64% shooting from the Sixers. But they also made 10 turnovers, which Miami converted. But at the end of the day, Miami just could not get it done. They fell 8 points shy. But have we seen the tide finally turn back to the Sixers? And B looks like he's kind of coming to form. Stat Guy, can you officially say the Heat are done and the Sixers are moving on? Or was this just a 2-game fluke for the Sixers?
I said it before that I thought both Eastern Conference series are going to go 7 games. And the reason why I said that is all 4 teams were the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference at one point. All 4 teams are separated by 2 games in the standings, and 3 of them have the exact same record. It's just with tiebreakers. One team got the 2 seed, and the other team got the 4 seed. So these teams are very familiar with each other. These teams have played each other tough throughout the entire regular season. So at this point, there's nothing that either one of these teams can throw at each other that's going to look any different. I think just playing at home, it helped Philadelphia, but they go home to Miami for Game 5. I think Miami wins that. They go home to Philadelphia for Game 6. I think Philly wins that. It's not like the tide has turned. It's going to take someone to win on the road, basically, to turn the tide. And if Philly wins on the road in Game 5, then I think they win the series in 6. And if Miami wins in Game 6 on the road, then chances are they close out the series. The only way that I think someone's really going to be able to take that series outside of 7 games is if someone picks up a win on the road. And with Boston and Milwaukee, we've already seen that the team split in Boston. Milwaukee won by 2 points in Game 3. If Boston can split at Milwaukee tonight, that series is 2-2 heading back to Boston. So it's going to be, I think, a back-and-forth series for the entire Eastern Conference.
Yeah, we definitely going to talk more about that Milwaukee here in a second. Damian Hernandez chimes in, and I guess I picked it up a little late. He says, do y'all really think the Grizzlies are going to lose without Morant? I mean, they have had better games when he wasn't playing. And you know what my answer to that was? That team wasn't a healthy Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, they weren't. At the early of the year, they weren't at all healthy.
And the thing is, too, right now, and I know, Frankie, you're going to hate when I mention this guy's name because you can't stand him, and I think you know who I'm going to bring up. The way the Warriors are playing right now looks like Kevin Durant Warriors, where they legitimately have 3 players that are going to give you 25 to 30 every single night. Klay Thompson,
Frankie,
Curry,
I know that makes
Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, and Curry are going to give you 25 to 30 points every single night. And if you're getting 75 points between those 3, I don't care how good of a defensive team you have, they're going to be tough to beat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. So, Frankie, man, listen.
Every time somebody mentions KD's name, I pinch myself.
I know, man. I know you're over there. Hey, listen. I need you to move on. I need you to get over the KD issue and move on. Listen, I got the Heat, man. Are the Heat cooked or the Milwaukee Bucks just that good now? I mean, excuse me, not the Milwaukee Bucks. The Sixers. Are the Sixers with Embiid, are they just a formidable team? I mean, who's cooked here?
Well, I've always said since the very beginning, I don't care about this series. This series is boring to me. Miami is hot dog garbage to me. Literally, they're Heat garbage. And I said that once Embiid came back from injury, they're going to win 4 straight. Embiid and the 76ers are going to win 4 straight because let's be honest, who can stop Embiid? Jimmy Butler scored 40, but yet the Philadelphia 76ers still won. And Embiid didn't even score, 30 30. He didn't even score 27. What do you got, like 24 points?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't even get to 25 points, and he still got the win. You want to know why? Because James Harden finally stepped it up when he needed to. James Harden finally steps it up, and what pisses me off is he's not going to continue what he did last game. If James Harden can continue playing the way he did last game, this series is done for. Miami Heat are done for. That's the only reason Philadelphia 76ers can win right now, is if James Harden continues to play the way he's doing. Joel Embiid is not 100%, so James Harden needs to take over the ranks right now until Joel Embiid can get 100% healthy. Joel Embiid, nobody could stop the man, especially in Miami. Nobody can stop him. Who's going to stop him? Bam Adebayo? Apparently he can't. Apparently he can't stop him at all. Who's going to stop James Harden when he's on fire like he did last game? Jimmy Butler, because he couldn't stop him. Jimmy Butler got 40, but he couldn't stop James Harden from shooting 6 3-points and going insane and getting almost 40 points that game. It's just that simple. When Joel Embiid is on the court for the 76ers, nobody can stop him, and the 76ers are unstoppable with Embiid. I feel, especially as with the Miami Heat, that, like I said, they are trash. I do not like the Miami Heat this year. That I feel like everybody's giving the Miami Heat so much hype and so much like, oh, they're the team because they're the number 1 seed. No, stop it. Everybody, please stop it. Miami is hot dog water trash. They're done for. They're not gonna win this series. This is easily going to the Philadelphia 76ers. The next game's in Philly. I do think that the Philadelphia 76ers are gonna win that one. I do agree with Stat Guy, though. I feel like once they go back to Miami might win it, make it a little bit of challenging. But I'm not gonna give it 7 games. I'm gonna probably give it 6 games and say that Miami. If technically Miami wins that home game, they obviously are gonna have 7 games. But I honestly don't feel that Miami once the 76ers have 3 wins. Hopefully Doc Rivers don't mess it up as a coach and have his little fiasco thing that he normally does and go up 3 games where it's the 1-game series where he can end it and then it turns around and he freaking loses it 4-3. I hope that doesn't happen, but I want Philadelphia 76ers to win the next 2 games because, like I said, Embiid back, they're going to win 4 straight. I said that since the beginning. But if the Miami Heat somehow, some way win Game 6, then I don't know. I'm gonna have to tie my tongue and keep it tight until I see that Game 7. I don't know.
Yeah, and I wish Pride was here because this is where it's going to be interesting for me, man. Listen, we're going to move on to the beautiful Milwaukee Bucks over the Celtics right now, 2-1. And I will say this, the Celtics have found their identity. They really have. Jason Tatum, Brown, they really kind of have formed, and Marcus Smart, they really have kind of, found out who they are as a team. But I think where they're struggling or where they're going to struggle and why I don't think the Celtics move on from this series is because I just feel like Milwaukee has too much size advantage down low. And they have good perimeter shooting. And when everybody's doing their job and they're clicking all cylinders, this team is just really, really formidable and hard to beat. And that's why they're the defending champions. And I don't know that at the end of the day, as good as Tatum is, and as good as the defensive guy that Brown is, and as good of a number 2 that Brown is, that they have enough to defeat these champions. What do y'all think, man? What do y'all expect tonight because they got another game in Milwaukee, and whoever wins this goes up 3-2. What do y'all think, man? How do you feel about this Stat Guy? Oh, and our boy Rob is in play.
Oh boy.
He said, "Oh boy."
I still have Boston winning this series in 7 games. For whatever reason, I do not think the Bucks can rip off 2 consecutive wins without Chris Middleton. I just don't. And I have a feeling Grayson Allen, one of these games, is going to cool off. And if Grayson Allen cools off, what is that team going to look like? Because since he stepped in for Chris Middleton, he really hasn't had a bad game yet. So if Grayson Allen does cool off and you don't have Middleton, who's your secondary scoring option outside of Giannis? Drew Holiday's done a good job, but can you count on him to give you 25-30 if Grayson Allen's having an off night? I still have Boston winning in 7 just because of the way Boston has played the last month and a half, 2 months of the season. They were down by 14 against Milwaukee in Game 3 and battled back to only lose by 2. And it seems like every time Boston loses a game, Ime Udoka does a great job of adjusting to what went wrong, and they come out with a completely different game plan, and they end up winning the next game. So I think that's going to be the key to Game 4 is can he adjust once again? Can he get Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to do what they usually do? And I've said it before. When you're playing Milwaukee, let Giannis beat you. Giannis is going to get his points because of the type of player he is. Let him get his 45 to 50 points, though. Beat the Bucks, you have to take away Milwaukee's other options. And you saw in Game 2 that they not only took away Milwaukee's other options, but they forced Giannis into a lot of tough shots and forced him to play a style that he wasn't comfortable with. Let Giannis do what Giannis does. Let him get his points, but just take away everybody else on Milwaukee. And Milwaukee doesn't have enough to beat Boston at that point.
Can I ask you a question, Stat Guy? Now, Game 3, there's been a lot of controversy with Boston fans. I've seen it all around. Do you believe that Game 3 was really Boston Celtics versus rest? Because there was a lot. I've seen the game also. There was a lot of calls that should have been called that wasn't called. Do you agree with the Boston Celtics fan base?
I do and I don't, because if you look at the free throw numbers, Boston had 17 more free throws.
Right, okay.
So Boston was actually getting more calls than Milwaukee was getting because they shot 34 free throws and the Bucks shot 18. Towards the end of the game, I think Milwaukee got a little bit more calls, which you're the home team. You have a guy like Giannis, you are going to get a lot more of those calls down the stretch, and you see it all the time with LeBron James, with Durant, with Michael Jordan, with Curry, with all these teams that have a superstar. When there's close games on the line in the fourth quarter, if your superstar is at home, you're going to get a lot more of those calls. But for the majority of the game, Boston was getting more calls than Milwaukee was getting. It's just a matter of this series is going to be one of those series where it's going to be whoever can. It's going to be a 12-round fight, and whoever can take the most punches is going to win this game. And I don't like Chris Middleton. I thought the Bucks overpaid for Middleton. I understand why the Bucks kept him because he's a good defensive player and he does take a lot of pressure off of Giannis. But without Middleton in this series, I just don't think the Bucks can win it. I think it goes 7 games regardless, but I just think not having that secondary scorer, not having the veteran that's been there, done that before, I don't know if you can trust Grayson Allen in a Game 7 to take a shot like Middleton would take to maybe put the game away.
So as y'all can see, our boy Rob Scott has joined the show.
Rob,
Rob, as the man. Hey, hold on. Rob, as a man who has switched teams, and even though you switch teams, you have more games with the team that you're representing now than Freddie does with the Rams. What's up, my brother? Before I get your take on the Chicago series, though, I want to get your take on the Golden State. You guys, you kind of got the dirty shot from Brooks onto Peyton II, broke the code. Pissed off because you lost him. So does Poole take out Ja's knee and retribution payback?
No, that wasn't dirty, man.
Don't favor them.
It wasn't dirty. He was reaching for the ball. And
how do you reach for the ball and grab a knee and then you jerk the knee?
Because your momentum takes you. Jordan Poole is not that type of player. He's not that type of person. I think if his reputation was of him being a dirty player, then I would probably go with the latter. But he's not. I don't think he meant to hurt Ja's knee. I mean, if you look at the replay, it didn't even look that hard of a grab. It's just Ja's knees are frail.
Listen, I have a theory. If you hit a knee, Rob, if you hit a knee, that's one thing. But if you hit a knee and then curl your fingers around and come back into motion, come on, bro. You know a kneecap and a ball don't feel the same.
First of all, I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna listen to Frankie because Frankie just hates Golden State.
I don't hate Golden State. No, I don't hate Golden State. Honestly, I really don't hate Golden State. I don't know,
man. Hey, listen, I think it's a fragrant too. Either way, I think we should have lost Poole for at least one game on that one. I know. I'm not saying he's dirty. I don't think Brooks was dirty. I think both are just
I
basketball players.
think even Ja realized that. That's why Ja, in his initial reaction, he's mad. He tweets, "You broke the bro code," but he immediately deletes it because when you sit back and think about it, if that was Draymond, yeah, he did that. But that was Jordan. That was Jordan Poole, bro. So it's like this kid is not a dirty kid. I think it was just honestly a freak accident. It was a freak accident.
He's tight. Jordan Poole's tight. He hooked that knee. He's mad because
But what was he tight for?
Because John Morant took his title. John Morant took that title that he deserved.
Man, Jordan Poole is possibly about to win a ring. And Damian, for the record, for anybody that knows,
he said you lost your Chicago card.
Yeah, and if you think I'm worried about a kid named Damian telling me I lost my Chicago card, you got another thing, bro.
Damian said you are no longer allowed to be anywhere near what used to be Cabrini Green. You can just stay out of there.
He wouldn't even be allowed in my hood, and it's not even a hood. Let me tell you. Let me tell you something, bro. Anybody that knows me knows that I've been a Golden State fan since I told people Steph Curry was my favorite player. So that doesn't bother me.
Hey, listen.
I'm actually happy.
Hey, don't feel bad, bro. It's okay.
I'm actually happy KD is no longer with the team because all the bandwagon people are gone.
Listen, don't feel bad. When I talk to Frankie, I tell Frankie all the time, you're not a real New Yorker. A real New Yorker would never have a Boston team, period. I don't care if it's the New England Patriots or not. You don't go against the state of New York. And Boston is their rival, diehard. And then you're going to switch it.
Not to mention, I've been telling people.
I say the same.
I've been telling
you
people
know what?
since
I
the
say
beginning of the regular season that the Warriors was going to win it all.
I say the same thing to Jay. I say the same thing to Jay because he wants to rock H-Town but be a Dallas Cowboy fan. He's supposed to be a Houston Texans fan. Don't try to go there with me. Don't try it. Don't try it. Don't try it.
Speaking of Dallas, Jay, right now would be a good time to be a Mavericks fan.
No, I'm a Rockets fan. I'll always be a Rockets fan. I can't do that, man. I can't.
Hey, this is how you know Luka is good. Do you notice he got both of their nicknames? They call him Luka Legend and Luka Magic. Did you notice that?
He's got Luka a lot of different. So let me ask you this real quick before I get your take on this whole Celtics and Bucks series. Hey. So you don't have a Morant now, so you know Golden State's looking pretty good to advance.
Warriors are 5. I've been saying that.
But what do you think about the Dallas Phoenix? They're tied up 2 apiece. You got one more game in Dallas. Is Dallas turning the tide, and can Dallas advance beyond Phoenix?
That's a good question. I think Phoenix has another gear that they can get to. The real question to me is why hasn't DeAndre Ayton dominated this series? Exactly. It's not looking too good for him to get a max payday. I mean, you got Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell on you. What's up, Leonard? You got Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell on you. Like, this should be a series in which DeAndre Ayton should be licking his chops. He should be like, I got the advantage down low. The first 5 possessions should go through me. Like that's when you have to step up and be a leader on this team. And DeAndre Ayton is so timid to me. I feel like that's a disadvantage for Phoenix. And look at the way that Luka plays better in the post than DeAndre Ayton. Yeah. And people notice that this series, Luka has been dominating from the post. He's deadly down there. So I think right now Dallas has a lot of momentum, but it's going to come down to a home advantage thing because neither team has won on the road. So Phoenix has that advantage of having a home court advantage.
All right, before I get on to Lennon Crisp, I need to get your take on the Bucks and Celtics series. Milwaukee's got one. Hey, they got one more game in Milwaukee before we head back to Boston. Can we? And I hate to say it, I hope Pride's watching, man.
Rob, watch what you say. Pride's not here to defend himself.
I said I wish Pride could be here. I'm not gonna give him a hard time, but let's just be honest. Just call it what it is. You had 33%. Then you got 36% shooting. He said that that it would be very unlikely that we would see another 30% type of game. But here we have another 30% type of game. And I said deja vu, MFer. And I tell you, hey, listen,
we were the only two that agreed Jay, me and you were the only two agree that this is likely to happen again. Milwaukee plays defense, and this is
you were there. Do you remember? But listen, when Pryor was on unscripted, he was kind of downplaying the whole Seldom thing, and Frankie was on his bandwagon for whatever reason. But do you remember? No, hold on, Rob. Do you remember what Pryor said specifically, that it would be very seldom that you would see that type of scoring from Boston again?
Yes, I do remember that. And me and you agree that it's more likely to happen again.
But Rob, do you know what his defense was? Well, it was 33%, and now it was 36%. That's 3% difference. It was not the same thing.
That was me saying that. No, that was me saying that.
Oh, that's a Frankie trying to defend Pride's honor.
I'm like, I said, Pride said it wouldn't happen. Pride said it wouldn't be a 33%. They were 36%. That's 3% better, Jay. They were 3% better.
But you know what? The tell of the tape with the Boston-Milwaukee series is, can Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum do it together? Because we've seen now that if one goes off and the other doesn't, they're going to 9 times out of 10 lose. I mean, Jaylen Brown held it down in the first half. Jason Tatum, somebody put out an APB for this man. 4-19 from the field or 6 from the 3-point line, only giving you 10 points. If you're the superstar that everybody is ready to crown you because of what you did against Kevin Durant, that ain't going to cut it, bro. Not in these pivotal games, especially with Milwaukee missing a Chris Middleton. And I know Stat Guy, you know, my boy from Wisconsin, I know he doesn't like Chris Middleton too much, but let's keep it real. He is an all-star, and he is a missing 25 points for the Milwaukee Bucks. Boston is not taking advantage of this opportunity. And if it goes to 7 games, I'm putting my money on Giannis.
Yeah. And then, man, is Middleton, is he done for the playoffs as a whole?
It might
be,
man.
He's done for this. He's done for this series, and if he's back before the NBA Finals, if they get that far, he'll be lucky.
Yeah, he'll be a shell of himself, though.
So then we get our boy Leonard. So we get our boy Leonard Chris coming to the show. And Leonard, I don't know if you have one of those cameras that's like 1970s flashback, or if that's just a plume of pot smoke around you. It always just seems kind of weird when you come on the show, man. You got this haze of 1970s.
You in the smoke room, baby.
No, my camera's messed up. I ain't got no smoke.
I gotta give Leonard a hard time. Leonard, all right, man.
Me, damn it. I'm the Tupac head of ASAP.
Leonard, let's talk some Bucks and let's talk some Celtics, man. What's your prognosis?
Honestly, I gotta agree with you guys. They're not taking advantage of the Middleton absence. You know, I feel like if Jason Tatum, I feel like they should probably take Tatum off of Giannis and try to put him on whoever's like at like small forward and stuff like that. And that way, like there'll be like easier matchups for Boston to kind of try and advance. You know. I was going to ask, how long is Marcus Smart out for?
He's not out.
Is he?
Nah, he's just been missing in action.
Oh,
yeah, because
he was 1 of 8 from the field, so it's kind of it's understandable that you missed him.
Honestly, Rob, you better stop. Pride's not here to defend his people.
Honestly though,
is it? But is the injury still bothering him? Is it still an injury issue, or is it just him just not playing well?
He's game 1. He got beaten up very bad. He had a partially separated shoulder that they had to put back in place. Then he had a quad contusion where he was limping the entire second half of the game. So he's playing through something, whether it's still the quad injury, whether it's the shoulder. He's playing through something because he knows he has to be out there. So I give Marcus Smart a ton of credit for gutting it out to even go out there. But he's not 100% healthy, and if he's not 100% healthy, that hurts that team a lot.
Hey, Dustin, that's a good point because that's something that's rare these days because these dudes get a hangnail and they miss 3 games.
It's true, man. Or they call and they try to label it load management, but they're really just being weak at heart. Let's just be honest.
Man. You know, I miss the old school days where, you know, I was just watching a clip, and I probably mentioned this before. Kobe Bryant just getting his finger popped right back into place on the court. He jumps.
Can somebody explain to me when this whole load management shit started in the NBA? Because you don't see load management in the NFL. You don't see load management in NHL except for goalies because goalies don't play back.
Boy Kawhi kind of labeled it and got it started, but maybe
it was even before Kawhi got there.
Yeah.
with Kawhi there, it brought more attention to it. But Pop has always been known to pull his players out, especially those big games on TNT. You might not see Parker play, might not see Duncan play. You know, Pop has been the king of load management. It's just Kawhi took it and put it on a whole new level. If Kawhi don't want to play, he won't play.
Well, I'm good with load management, but don't, like you said, don't like bench a player. Like if you want him to play like 25 minutes one game and like 40 minutes another game, that's fine. You're still giving him load management, but he's still getting out there. Like I'm sick and tired of like LeBron James, especially this year. Like, okay, your team is on the verge of missing the playoffs, and yet you decide to take yourself out because you said your ankle hurt. I don't give a crap who it is. Any other player, if they knew that their team was on the verge of still getting into the playoffs, they're playing through it. I don't care what anybody says.
Hey,
oh yeah.
Kobe used to do that shit all the time. Kobe used to do it all the time, bro. Kobe would actually play the entire game. He'll probably only get like a 2-minute rest out of the entire game, and that 2-minute rest will be from like halftime. Like Kobe will play the entire game, man. I miss Kobe.
I miss the way I played in the 90s.
I miss when the Lakers were good, damn it.
They have NBA 2K20.
Them days are long gone, man. Maybe we'll see a great Lakers team. This is going to be a long period of time. It ain't going to be anytime soon. I don't think we see it when LeBron is there. I'll be honest with you.
It's all right. Thank God for you too.
Nah.
Hey, speaking of the Lakers, I'm going to transition a little bit. So the Lakers are obviously bringing in candidates for their head coaching vacancy, right? No, I'm just saying they're bringing in head coaching vacancies. We've seen several teams or several names put out there. The two most notable are Terry Stotts and Mark Jackson. Everybody else is just kind of like whatever. I don't know, man. Who's got the best shot at it? Terry Stotts with the former Blazers, or do we give it to Mark Jackson from Golden State? I'll start to top, and we'll work our way around. Stat guy, who gets it, man?
If the Lakers were smart, they'd be on the phone right now with Mark Jackson and giving him a contract and say, here's a blank check, fill it out for what you think you're worth. But this is the Los Angeles Lakers, and we've seen who their head coaches have been the last several times, so I have a feeling they're going to go for Terry Stotts. And hell, they might even bring in Steve Clifford, for example.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Hey, look, the Stotts really that. I mean, when I look at Stotts, 9 seasons for the Blazers. He's coming off the last 3 seasons he had with them. His offense was ranked number 3. I mean, he values the freedom of players on the court, which God knows, man. That's what the Lakers like to do.
He went to the playoffs every year, right?
Generates lots of assists and limits turnovers, which God knows the Lakers commit a lot of turnovers. So could he – and he does maximize talent and he does develop talent. So could he maximize the crappy team, or could he bring in the right people and generate what he can get from them? I mean, he does have a reputation.
I will say this. If the Lakers are interested in Terry Stotts, and if they want to bring Terry Stotts to LA, keep an eye on Damian Lillard. Because Damian Lillard loved Terry Stotts. He loved to play.
Could that be a segue to get Damian Lillard to LA?
That's what I'm saying. If the Lakers move on from Russell Westbrook, which they should, and they probably will if they can figure out what to do with this $49 million.
Don't worry, I'm still on the phone with my owners and stuff.
If Terry Stotts' name is mentioned with the Lakers, and if Damian Lillard finally wants to come out and say, I want out of Portland, even though he's said since day one that he doesn't plan to leave, but now that C.J. McCollum has been traded and a lot of the pieces around him have been traded, if he finally comes out to say, I want out of Portland, expect the Lakers to go after Terry Stotts and then try to pave the way to bring Lillard to L.A.
Actually, more than just traded, though. C.J. McCollum had a little success.
I know he did, but I'm just saying the only reason why Lillard said he didn't want to leave is because he still had McCollum with him and he still had some of the pieces around him. But now that McCollum's gone, and the rest of these other pieces around him are pretty much leaving, he's got Yusuf Nurkic next to him. That's it. Outside of him, he doesn't have anybody left, so expect Lillard to finally come out and say, well, McCollum got out. I want out now, too.
Right.
Frankie, this is your team, man. What do you think about Terry Stotts?
I do agree. I honestly believe we should bring in Mark Jackson, but if we get Terry Stotts, it's definitely an open door to get Damian Lillard
into the Lakers, especially with Damian Lillard. He previously, I think it was like last year or 2 years ago, he actually had a talk with LeBron James and AD to try and come to LA, but he told him that he was, staying with Portland. He said he wanted to stick with Portland. He wanted to, get a championship with Portland. And maybe that messed him up. Maybe, that wasn't a good idea, Damian. So I honestly, I'm going to be real with you. I want to get Stouts in there because I feel like Stouts, as a Trailblazer coach, he went to the playoffs, I believe, every year when he was coaching.
Every year but his first one, I think.
Yeah, so I think that'll be a good fit. Plus, him coming in there, he can hopefully change it up a little bit, not just adding Damian Lillard, but also adding in like some key defensive players that probably be a free agency. Then again, we got to worry about money situation. I don't know, man. Mark Jackson come in. I don't see anything different going to change. I feel like Mark Jackson's going to come in. He's just going to let LeBron James run the team again. I don't know. I say bring in Terry Stouts.
Lennon.
I honestly agree. I feel like Mark Jackson would be a good choice, but with Stouts, I feel like he's more, like you guys said, he'd be less inclined to let LeBron lead the team. And with the bringing Lillard in, I feel like that should be good if we get Stouts, but they don't have the draft capital to actually trade for him because that Anthony Davis trade from a few years ago.
Well, Russell Westbrook would be dealt to Portland if they're going after Lillard.
True, but I still feel like they would have to give up at least a few draft picks, and they only have one or two first-round draft picks over the next 5 years. I want to say,
yeah, they're definitely hurting for picks right now. I think their next pick, if I'm not mistaken, I believe their next pick isn't until 2025. Dustin, correct?
No,
2025 is their next first-round pick. They don't have a pick in 2022, and they have a second-round pick in 2023. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying, the first-round pick. They don't really have a significant pick, really, until 2025, unless they find gold in 2023 as the second-rounder. But, Rob, big shot, man. Terry Stotts, man. What are we thinking?
I'm agreeing with everybody right now. I feel like Terry Stotts is not a bad coach. I mean, he helped coach the Portland Trailblazers to the playoffs pretty much every year during his tenure there. But I think the Lakers need more than just a head coach. They need a leader. They need a voice in that locker room besides LeBron James. And that's what Mark Jackson gives you. He's going to come in, talking about a God-fearing man. He's not afraid to tell people about themselves, and he uplifts his team. And I think that's what the Lakers need right now. They need a verbal leader in the locker room. As far as with Damian Lillard, man, I love the guy. I respect the fact he wants to do it like Giannis. He wants to do it like Dirk, only playing for one franchise. But sometimes you're going to let your loyalty get you in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave Portland everything he's had to give. And Portland has not met him, to me, halfway. So I felt like, hey, if they do get Terry Stotts and he decides he wants to go to the Lakers, I'm not going to crucify the man for it.
Yeah, Nick Nurse and Darvin Ham are two other names. I think Darvin Ham would be a good fit, too.
Yeah.
I think Nick Nurse would be a good fit. If you see what he did with that Toronto Raptor team, I mean,
I definitely like the Nick Nurse. And he has a championship with Toronto, so
he does. And he's shown that he can coach superstar caliber players as he coached in Kawhi. So, he got Kawhi to submit to his will and play the way he wanted him to play for winning basketball, and they were able to win a ring because of that. And not to mention, even without Kawhi, he's taking that team to the playoffs. Remember who they lost. They not only lost DeMar DeRozan, they lost Kawhi, they lost Kyle Lowry. You lost your top-notch stars, and still you're able to at least make it back to the playoffs. I think that's a credit to Nick.
No, he's done good. He's definitely done good with the talent that he's had. Yeah. And been able to still produce, a competitive team. That's hard to do. But, but you can say the same thing for Terry Stotts over 11 years. I mean, he's had players come in and out of that Trailblazers, and he's kept. Although you do have had Lillard for a while, you have had McCollum, but I don't know. I look at you do look at Mark Jackson, right? And he only coached for 3 years as a head coach, but he was under Pop. He was under Kerr, or not under Kerr. Excuse me. Who's the other guy he was under? There was one other one I can't think of the name right offhand, but I know. But he coached under Pop. Or was it Pop? I think. Nope. I'm thinking Mike Brown. Scratch what I just said. I'm thinking Mike Brown. I apologize,
Mikey.
But hey, but you look at a guy like Jackson who coached for 3 years at Golden State. He really basically built that championship team. And then once he built it, then Kerr basically comes in. Not that Kerr's a bad coach, because you still got to be a good coach, but he does reap the benefits off of Mark Jackson. Let's just be honest.
I mean, he did.
You know what I'm saying?
To Steve's Kerr credit, he did change the way that they play offensively.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take anything from Steve Kerr.
Because his experience in the triangle, he knew that with the style that Steph Curry and Klay plays in, they needed more of a motion offense. I'm not gonna lie. I think with Golden State under Mark Jackson, they play more of a traditional way where the superstar has the ball in his hand. This is why as soon as Steve Kerr gets there, Steph Curry's MVP. Because now Steve Kerr said, okay, I'm going to mold this offense to fit the style you play. You are a great one-on-one player, but your strength is the fact that you can move and not get tired.
But
That's all Steve Kerr.
But Steve Kerr had one other advantage that a lot of NBA head coaches didn't have either. Not only did he
shooters to ever play the game of basketball.
Well, not only did he play with Michael Jordan,
but
you got to remember he was also a GM.
Yes.
Before he became a head coach.
And not to mention, both of his head coaches are two of the best coaches that ever played. People forget he played for Pop. He won two rings with the Spurs.
Yep, he played for Pop, and then he was also a GM with the Phoenix Suns.
Yes.
Back when the Phoenix Suns had Steve Nash and Marion and Stoudemire in that group. So the Golden State offense is very similar to that offense that Phoenix ran when he was the GM.
Yes.
He saw how much success that offense had back when he had it originally, that when he got to Golden State, he basically recreated that Phoenix roster and put it with different players.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it funny how that works? That Steve Kerr had, the experience as a GM to help him as a head coach, and then James Jones being on those teams that win championships becomes a great GM. It's funny how experience works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, Mikey, I love you, Mikey.
The only downside I see with Mark Jackson is, and I didn't realize this, I always thought the reason why he was getting blackballed was because of his religious beliefs and how he was trying to get his players to conform to that type of thing. He was wanting them to go to church and so forth. But what is interesting to me is, as I was reading an article on him, they were saying it had more to do with the fact that upper level management just really did not like Mark Jackson at all. I think there was a very big rift between Jackson and upper level management, or really besides outside of the players, the organization. It was just him. He just had and I think and like he said, I really think that the Warriors kind of hurt the Warriors helped get him blackballed in a lot of other people's minds because of that. And I think that's why Jackson has had such a hard time latching on with the new team. Do you feel that way, or do you think it was more just his religious beliefs have had him blackballed?
I don't think he's been blackballed because he's still he's working as a commentator. You know what I mean? If he got blackballed, I don't think he'll have anything to do in the NBA. I just think the way his style of coaching was, and the fact that he was so argumentative with upper management. Most general managers didn't want to deal with that. They're like, well, what have you done as a coach to tell me your way is better than mine?
He reminds me of a Black Phil Jackson, no lie. And that's giving him full respect. Like he's a coach that doesn't give two shits. He will tell you guys what it is. And that's honestly what we need in the NBA. Yeah. Honestly.
I mean, the thing with if you look at Phil Jackson back in those Bulls days, Jerry Krause wanted to fire him for a long time.
Yeah, and that's why
he was winning. Left. He was winning, and not only were you winning, the biggest star in the world has your back. Saying if Phil's not here, I don't want to be here. I don't think nobody stepped up like that for Mark Jackson. Steph Curry wanted to. A lot of the teams said that they loved Mark and they missed Mark, but they were also willing to play for Steve.
Real quick, so Stat Guy brought up a good point. He was saying the Lakers are planning on moving, or rumor has it that they plan to move on from Melo, and that Melo could reunite with Billy Donovan in Chicago. How do you think that would help Melo's career going forward?
I think Melo's career is pretty much done. I mean, at this time right now, unfortunately, he's doing right now what he's always done. That's playing for a check.
Yeah.
He missed his opportunity a long time ago, and he chose the Knicks. That would
should he have just stayed? Hey, did he make a bad decision leaving the Nuggets?
It wasn't even the fact of leaving the Nuggets; it's who he chose to leave the Nuggets for.
Right.
You chose the Knicks. You literally chose the money.
Well, he didn't just choose the money; he chose the head coach too.
Yeah, Phil, right? Because Phil was over there at that time.
That's the main reason why he went to the Knicks. It had nothing to do actually with the money because the Bulls offered him more money.
Because maybe he thought under Phil he could have a better chance at the championship.
If he would have came to the Bulls, nothing
would have happened.
I'm not saying we wouldn't have won a ring. I'm not saying we would have won a ring. But we would have been a lot more competitive against Miami than we would have.
Yeah,
the Bulls problem.
Rob, I'm not taking
your
I don't care what you say. You're a Golden State fan.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like
this. The Chicago Bulls and
y'all
we
kill me. Who told y'all write the rules on how many teams a person can like?
I swear to God, you were Freddie and Jay. Yeah, I'm throwing you in there, Mr. Bucks.
Well, I'm throwing you
shut your mouth. You know what? No, I'm not letting him do that.
I'm faithful.
How you like the Yankees and the Patriots? Right. Quiet him up. All I'm saying is nobody
childish game. Jay?
I can like who I want to like. Did nobody have a problem when I like?
No, man. Hey, listen. You can give him all the smoke, but you ain't gonna call me a Bucks fan, asshole. No, hey, listen, hey, Mike Hughes.
All the smoke.
Hey, Mike Hughes made a few comments. I think Mike Hughes said, "Hey, man, I guess Rob must have misplaced his Chicago hat. He went to the alternative. I don't know, man.
I got my Chicago hat right in the closet.
Exactly.
I wear it too.
That's so sad to say. You got it in the closet. I wear it
too.
In the closet, collecting cobwebs.
Hey, so let's talk real quick, Mike Brown, man. Hey, Mike Brown, that's what I was getting confused with. I don't know why I'm saying Mark Jackson, but so Mike Brown was underneath Pop, underneath Kerr. Now he's the head coach of the Sacramento Kings. Was he the right guy for the job? Yeah, can't, because in Sacramento, they've got a 16 playoff drought going on. Is Mike Brown the one that's going to lead them to the promised land, or do you see the Sacramento Kings still going down the same path?
They're better, but he's not the answer because the only team that Mike Brown has ever had success with was what team?
The Lakers.
The Cleveland Cavaliers, and who did he have for 6 years?
LeBron James.
Yeah, LeBron James for 6 years.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything since he hasn't been with LeBron James. And Sacramento does not have LeBron James. Sacramento doesn't have a player anywhere in the same planet as LeBron James. So he's going to make Sacramento He's going to make Sacramento more competitive, but he's still not going to be the answer because the only success he had was with LeBron James. And that's the only reason why he got the Lakers head coaching job after LeBron left Cleveland. That's the only reason why he got a second stint in Cleveland. Had it not been for LeBron James, he probably wouldn't have been a head coach after his first stint in Cleveland.
LeBron James.
Rob, you feel the same way? You think Mike Brown was not necessarily the right hire?
I mean, Sacramento's a young team. It's not like they're gonna do anything with or without Mike Brown. I'm just being real. So, hey, if anybody deserves a coaching job, it's Mike Brown. He's a good guy. He's a good coach. He's won. People say, I get it. Yeah, he's won, and LeBron James was his star player, but everybody doesn't win with star players. Just being real.
Yeah.
Because you have to control those egos. You have to keep everybody in check. So the fact that Mike Brown was able to do that and then go to the Golden State Warriors as an assistant coach, know his role and realize that this is Steve Kerr's, he's the head of the ship and I'm here to help him out, and Golden State is successful, you have to control egos like KD, Steph, Clay, and Draymond. all collectively, and you guys still win 2 championships out of that, Mike Brown is a worthy coach.
Yeah. Frankie?
What, Jay? What?
Mike Brown, man.
Oh, Frankie just so damn difficult.
Yeah. Frankie's a little salty right now. It's okay. I think he must have hit some of them stems in his weed and pissed him off. I don't know.
I never have stems. I never carry seeds. I carry nothing but nugs and leaves.
Yes, Lord. That's a bar. That's a bar.
No,
Mike. Hey, Frankie, Mike Brown, man. Come on. Mike Brown. Is he the right guy?
Let me talk. Damn it. I don't think Mike Brown will be the answer, honestly. I remember Mike Brown as a coach of the Lakers. He was horrible. And like that guy said, like Mike Brown was only successful when he had LeBron James. I don't think Mike Brown will be the answer. Honestly, I don't think any coach can be the answer for Sacramento.
That's what I'm saying.
To be honest,
that's not true. That is not true, Frankie.
Who can successfully succeed with Sacramento?
Rick Edelman, rest his soul.
Rest his soul.
Yeah, rest his soul. But he ain't here.
I know he's the only one that can help that franchise because it's the last time the franchise was relevant.
I just don't see any. I don't think Mike Brown can be the answer. Mike Brown's just gonna go there and he's just gonna be stressed.
Bring in Mike Bibby with Vlade Divac as the GM.
Oh wow!
Hey,
yeah, but Mike, hold on, Sanders. That's something stupid to say though, because Doc Rivers is different. You say he hasn't done anything since 2009. You're lying. He hasn't won a championship since 2009.
He's gotten to the playoffs every year but one.
Exactly. He takes teams to the playoffs. He takes teams to the conference finals. So don't go there and say Doc Rivers hasn't done anything since 2009. You clearly don't know basketball. I forgot you're a Heat fan and they're trash.
You can't blow 3-1 lead.
You cannot talk to a man whose name is Sander Arroyo Sanchez.
Jay, you forgot, Jay. Jay, you forgot I'm Frankie C. I talk to anybody any damn way I feel like, bro.
Lennon, man. Hey, the best writer in sports outside of Scott Guy. I think y'all guys are about even in my book. But, hey, what's up, man? Mike Brown, is he really the deal?
I think he is a temporary solution to, like, a permanent problem. You know, I feel like he could maybe get them to the playoffs for a couple years, but I don't think he's going to really do much with the squad they have. Unless they do close to a total rebuild. Yeah, no, I doubt it.
Sacramento ain't going nowhere fast. I'm just.
Yeah. Back to what Frankie said when he was in Los Angeles. This is how quick the Lakers gave up on him. If you remember when Mike Brown took over, it was during that lockout shorted season where they only played 66 games. Mm-hmm. And he was 41-25 that first year in Los Angeles, and he got him to the conference semifinals. 1 year later, he started 1-4, and they fired him. He was 42-29 with the Lakers, and they let him go.
That's what I'm saying, though. He was winning.
He was 1-4 the second year, though, but he won in the lockout shorted season when the Lakers still had Kobe and still had all these other superstars around him. The next year, all they had was just Kobe. And he got off to a 1-4 start, and the team looked absolutely lifeless.
But this one, Kobe was deteriorating, though.
But he still didn't have anybody else around him, though. Like, Mike Brown has only been successful when he's had a superstar leading the way.
There's no
Most coaches are only successful when they have superstars.
There's no coach that can win without having a good team. If you don't have a good team, I don't care who your coach is. I mean, you have to have
Bill Belichick, as great as he is, we see the difference when Tom Brady ain't your quarterback.
Oh, I get that, but look at the Miami Heat. Miami Heat do not have a superstar on that team.
They don't, but they have a bunch of all-stars. You got Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo. You got people that can play the game. It's a difference when you ain't got when you got a team full of bums. It's a difference.
Rob, I love you. I was texting when you were saying something about Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. That is true. But let's not forget that Tom Brady already went. Let's not forget that Tom Brady already went to a superstar-made team for him, and then him bringing in more superstar athletes. Let's not forget that. All right.
No, I'm not saying Tom Brady is better than Belichick or whatever.
No, I know what you were saying.
Whatever
you're
taking.
Belichick hasn't.
I'm saying as a great coach.
Right.
As a great coach.
He wasn't able to succeed yet without Brady. I understand what you're saying. Bill Belichick had to revamp a New England Patriot team that had a bunch of nobodies.
That team was already falling apart when Tom Brady was there. It was just not as noticeable because Tom Brady was going to be Tom Brady. When Tom Brady left, you saw the deficiencies in New England. The moment Tom Brady left, like, oh snap, they offensive line suck. Oh snap, there are no receivers to throw it to. Like
that's true though.
Tom Brady made the
speaking of football, hey, hold on. Since we're transitioning into football real quick. Hey, speaking of football, I was kind of looking at the draft again, and I want to get you guys' opinion. So the Eagles had the number 15 pick. They traded up to the number 13 pick with the Texans, and they gave up 3 picks to move up 2 spots for Jordan Davis. Is it just me, or did they overpay to move up just 2 spots? I felt like they could have got Davis at 15, and to give up 3 picks for that, I didn't really buy into that.
I think with them even doing that, they still won because they got AJ Brown away from the Titans, and plus they were probably low draft picks.
No, but I'm not talking about that. That's a whole separate. That's a whole separate trade.
I know that, but what I'm saying is they were probably low draft picks that the Eagles didn't care about. They got the important people that they wanted, and they won by also getting AJ Brown on their team. Like, so they looked at it like, oh, well, those 3. At first, they're probably like, damn, we don't want to give those 3 first round or 3 draft picks away. But then, later on the draft, they're probably like, oh, damn, well, guess what? I don't care. We won this draft.
Well, there's a 55% chance that he's there anyway. You could have had those 3 picks still and got the guy you wanted. And who knows who knows what 120, 124, and then they had 162 and 166. Who knows what players they could have picked up and find that diamond in the rough that they lost out on? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to know until the next 3 years what those picks would have been.
The Eagles did it for one reason, and everybody knows the reason.
I'm listening.
They whiffed on DK Metcalf and took Nelson Arthea-Whiteside, and they whiffed on Justin Jefferson and took Jalen Reagor. That was their way of saying we screwed up the last 2 drafts. We're going to make up for it by bringing in AJ Brown.
I get AJ Brown, yeah. But this particular trade was with the what I'm saying, Justin, is this particular trade was with the Texans. And they gave up the LA Warriors from 15 to 13. This had nothing to really do with AJ Brown. That was a whole separate issue.
But by doing the AJ Brown move, it gave them the receiver they were looking for when they made that move with the Texans, because they were targeting wide receiver at number 15 anyways. So by doing the move they made with the Texans, they're like, we already traded for our wide receiver. Now we can just trade with the Texans and just make whatever other pick we feel necessary.
And Jordan Davis.
But why did they need to? I guess my thought process is why make the trade? Why make the trade when you could have got Jordan, the guy that you traded for, at 15 and kept those 3 picks?
But you don't know that.
You don't know that because there was rumors going out there that Jordan Davis was going to go 14.
You don't know that because Jordan Davis wasn't. He was a priority for some people, especially people that lack defensive intensity on the interior.
That's why we're talking about. I'm just curious. Yeah.
Because
stay curious. Stay curious.
You trade. Frankie got issues. When you traded up to get AJ Styles. I mean, I said AJ Styles. AJ Brown.
Because if you look at who picked number 14, the Baltimore Ravens picked number 14 and took that safety Kyle Hamilton.
Right.
They were the ones that wanted Jordan Davis on the defensive line.
Okay.
And you got to think. You look at the couple picks before them. They picked receivers. So now the Eagles are looking at like, well, we just got our receiver. Now let's worry about this defense. We got to be able to stop people too. Yes, sir, Pryor. You know what it is. Hey, shout out to WWE Backlash. It was that was a good show.
That was Rob. That main event though, bro. Yo,
We the ones.
Hey, don't worry, we're getting there. Hey,
I can't even talk about it.
We
That's
the
how
ones.
good it is. Seriously, acknowledge him.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Nah, don't be sorry.
No, but I do agree because after pick 14, there was a huge drop off in talent. So I understand what you're saying as well. So hey, it is what it is.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the
you don't understand.
They could have done worse. They could have done like the
You don't
Bears did
understand.
and trade up 2 picks for Mitchell Trubisky. So
Oh, Lord.
You truly don't understand.
Free
Jay's like, I
Trubisky.
understand, but you don't understand, Jay. We're trying to tell you
free
the
Trubisky.
truth, but you don't understand.
Hey,
Nah,
let's
that
talk
went
about the
from- that
Canelo.
went
Hey,
from-
let's talk about the Canelo. Hey, that Canelo fight with Bivol, man. Did anybody see that one?
I
Canelo.
can't believe Canelo lost.
Hey, for real though. Hey, did anybody think that maybe Canelo overlooked Bivol and thought he had it?
Yep, he did. Because
Yeah,
he talking about
definitely.
going heavyweight. He was talking about trying to fight Alexander, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was,
I
actually.
mean, I know Gennady or Golovkin. I can't say his name right. Golovkin. Part
Gennady
3.
Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin.
Yeah. So supposedly that was going to be his next opponent after this fight, and I guess because he lost the fight to Bivol, Bivol said, I guess Golovkin will have to wait because obviously he wants an automatic rematch. If he gets a rematch with Bivol, does Canelo win that fight? Does he take it a little bit more serious and actually win that fight, or is just Bivol better than him?
I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, if you look at Bivol, he's a young stud coming up in the game. You know, he already has 11 knockouts. He's undefeated as a fighter. And you got to think about this. Even if Canelo didn't take him serious, this is one of the bigger fights earlier into your boxing career. I mean, at that time, he only had 19 fights. So, you know, to go into a fight against Canelo, we talking about who some people revere as the best pound-for-pound fighter in boxing right now.
But
And
lost
for
to
him to
Mayweather.
get that he did lose to Mayweather. And I'm glad you brought that up, Frankie. Let's stop that. Let's stop that with Canelo and Mayweather talk. Mayweather didn't lose. I don't care who
Facts.
fought.
Facts.
So we gotta stop that. You know, I know people want to, Canelo fought Mayweather early in his career. This was a prime example. He fought Bivol early in his career and he didn't get the job done.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
It's true. No, that's true. That's true.
Free Mayweather. You know what I love? Mayweather was there at that fight and he bet $10,000 on Bivol.
That's why they call him money.
Yep.
That's why they call him money.
A man that stood in the ring.
Saying. A lot of
man
people
that stood in the ring with Canelo early in his career knew late in his career that he was still going to lose.
Yeah.
When you got that man, when you got the greatest boxer in the world betting opposing from Canelo, that tells you something.
You know, because if you look at that Canelo fight versus Mayweather, as I mentioned, a lot of people said, Mayweather fought Canelo early in his career. He was a baby when he fought him. But Mayweather did what you're supposed to do when you go in there and fight a baby. You teach him. And what Canelo was supposed to do was go in there against Bivol and say, you know who you fighting? And Bivol said, I do, actually.
Hey, guys.
And he was
hop off here. I'll see y'all later.
Go ahead, Lenny, man. Have a good one.
Be good, brother.
You know,
Get off the stream.
Bivol was in that, you know, he was accurate with his punches, man. You know, that's why it came down to the decision. He was able to get out of the way of Canelo power punches. He was hitting them with some sharp punches. He was catching them like the whole, like, man, like Bivol showed me something. He showed me something.
Yeah. And I think he showed Canelo something too.
Man, that's bad though.
Because Canelo wants a rematch. So did he really show him something? I mean, he's gonna have to take a second match just to actually show him something.
He is.
Maybe the second match when he loses, he can finally wake up and say, "Dang, I'm not as good as I really thought I was."
He does need a rematch because and that's why hey, come on, Damien, you know what you're talking about. But that's why if you look at what Bivol said after the fight, he said, "I'm sorry I ruined your plans. You wanted that fight with Triple G. Sorry I ruined your plans." You know what I'm saying?
Jay, pull that back up, please. Jay, pull that back up, please, because I'm done. I'm done with this.
I'm trying to stay back up there because it makes no damn sense.
Exactly. I tried staying quiet as long as I can.
Listen.
How can you say that he wanted to lose that fight, bro?
He would have got the rematch in Mexico.
Who wants to lose? Who wants to lose,
exactly.
Bro? This ain't the NBA. This is boxing.
Listen,
Losing can be a matter of losing your senses in boxing.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Hey, listen, man. Frankie, hey, man, I personally think Canelo goes and regroups. I think Canelo does take the fight more seriously. And I think Canelo can beat him. But he's gonna have to.
He should have took Jay. He should have took the fight seriously on Saturday.
From the jump.
I get it. I didn't think he overlooked him. I think he thought, "Hey, I got this," and obviously he trained, but probably didn't train as hard as he should have.
Yeah, I agree. I think he did overlook because Canelo got a lot going on right now. He's thinking about fighting Triple G again. He's also thinking about trying to make a debut into the light heavyweight, division. So
shouldn't be thinking that. Shouldn't be thinking.
My
like
thing is though,
fights.
In boxing, is protect yourself at all times. And that means not overlooking opponents either. Because your opponent in front of you in that ring is the person you need to be worried about at that moment.
You worry about the heavyweight division after you win this match.
Right. You worry about everything else after this fight. But right now, this fight is my only priority. This is what we just was in training camp for the last 6 weeks for.
Now he lost. Now he doesn't want to go into heavyweight because now he lost and got embarrassed. Now he wants to go in and redeem himself. And if he lose, what's going to happen? Are you going to go into the heavyweight division? Because if you do, people are going to look at you like, oh, he went to the heavyweight division because he couldn't succeed in this one. He lost back-to-back matches against this dude.
And then this also got me questioning now, do you really want to jump into the heavyweight division?
Exactly, because those are power
you really want to go up there with the Anthony Joshuas of the world and the Alexander Usyks of the world, like Usyk of the world?
I tell you what, he goes into the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury ain't retiring. Tyson Fury gonna be like, yo, I want to fight Canelo. I want to knock that fucking bastard out.
Nah, but see, Tyson Fury he a super heavyweight. Yeah.
That's what
Canelo don't want that fight.
He said, hey, listen, I don't want that heat. Hell no.
Hell no. Tyson Fury, we talking about one of the greatest heavyweights to ever.
Bro, Tyson Fury is amazing.
That's a
man. That guy is amazing.
He's a monster.
That's a beast.
He's a monster. He's such a beast. He sold out London. And that's like 90,000 fans.
So hey, I know this sounds like because I personally think that I'm gonna give Fury wins this one, but if you took a young Tyson at the very beginning, Dusty Kamado didn't lose anybody. Everybody's there before he goes to all that craziness. I mean, the very, very beginning, he was Iron Mike. Does he beat Fury? I don't think he does. I think Fury.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because Tyson has the advantage of being a knockout artist. He's a lot more different than Deontay because his knockouts were precise. They were accurate. But Tyson Fury showed he could take a punch.
He said, "Who let the Make-A-Wish kicks taste?"
I don't know. I think Tyson Fury uses that weight. Now I say this: if the fight goes into later rounds, if we get into like round 5, 6, 7, the advantage goes to Tyson Fury. Because if Tyson couldn't get you out of that, everybody historically knows Mike Tyson didn't want those fights to go longer than 4 rounds.
And that's what I love about boxing. Is like with the different weight classes and how the technique of people fight. Like people with Mayweather fights and people talking about how like he runs away from people during fights and stuff.
He's stupid.
No, he doesn't do that. He does that, but he's smart. He's learning like, yo, he's
baiting you in.
Exactly. He's getting his points by jabbing and getting his connections, but making you come at him so that way he can get that power punch that he.
And I get that. I get the whole science behind all of that. But I gotta be honest, man. Sometimes when I go pay my money, I want to see some action. I do, man. I want to see that. But I understand
thinking like that when you guys forgot the major concept about boxing is to hit and not get hit.
Yeah, it's true.
And y'all guys forgot about that. I get it. We've seen so many historic fights where they just go and leave it all in the ring, but we also see the damage that does to fighters.
It does. It does.
The shakes and the chills and can't use their hands or, just brain dead. So Mayweather said, okay, I'm going to perfect the sport of boxing by using the sweet science of boxing to win all these fights and to have all my faculties when I'm done fighting.
And he definitely accomplished that. Because he definitely has all of his faculties. That man making more money. It's ridiculous.
You can't get mad at him. And then people talk about him getting these easy fights. If you're willing to pay money to watch me beat up on scrubs, I'm going to rob the bank every time. Why not?
And I'll be real with you. I wasn't a huge Mayweather fan. I liked Mayweather, but I wasn't a huge fan of his until I seen the Pacquiao match with him. Mayweather versus Pacquiao is what changed me.
Made Pacquiao look like a novice.
Yes, and you know what? I agree with you. I'm a huge Pacquiao fan. I love Manny Pacquiao, and for him to do what he did to Manny Pacquiao and come out with the victory, man, it changed my whole feeling on Mayweather. I'm like, God, I gotta respect this dude. I can't continue to hate on him. Like, I can't, bro. I can't. I get that.
Mayweather. What's my guy named Cotto? If you want to see the grit of Mayweather and him being able to take a punch, watch him versus Miguel Cotto. Because Cotto was one of the first people, I think, if not the only person to make him bleed. Yes. Like he gave it to Mayweather. Him and Marcos Maidana, the first fight. That was the first fight between them and Mayweather and Marcos Maidana. Man, I'm talking about great fight where you actually saw Mayweather on the ropes because they did get physical with him. But I believe those fights are what helped prepare Mayweather for Pacquiao. Because Pacquiao likes to get physical too. He wants to come in and throw them flurries. And the thing is, with that shoulder roll defense, people, the fans are looking like, oh, Mayweather getting tagged, he getting hurt. He not. Not one of the punches have touched him in any vital area. They rolling off the shoulder. That's the whole purpose of a shoulder roll.
Look at him. He's coming at you, Jay. He's coming at you. And that's the hey, man, respect him because of his name. I'm going
to tell people, because people kill me when they be like, Mayweather fights are boring. I said that you don't like boxing. They defensive master. They are defensive masterpieces. Like, he shows you, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to jab you, and then I'm going to move back. And now you so mad that you just want to hit me so bad. And now I'm in your head. Like, now Mayweather's having conversations with people outside of the ring while he's fighting you. Like, I've seen fights. Like, if you watch the Andre Berto fight, the man is licking out his tongue at his fiance. He's doing everything to get under Berto's skin, and talking to his kids, talking about some, what are those? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what Mayweather did. But if you listen to Andre Berto, he talked about the sweet science of what Mayweather does, of how he always watches the clock. He knows how many minutes he has left in that ring. He knows when to clinch you up. He'll breathe deeply in your ear to let you know, I got more in the tank. I'm not tired yet. You seen Mayweather after a 12-round bout, and the man looks like he can go another 12 rounds. Yeah. That's
his cardio is amazing.
Training, man. He takes that shit so serious. I mean, excuse my language, but even to this day, Mayweather trains like a boxer, and he doesn't box anymore.
Right.
That's all he knows.
This guy Damian, bro.
Well, for him, it's probably therapy.
That's all he knows. He's been doing this since a kid.
Right.
I swear to God.
Training with his father, training with his uncle. He came from a lineage of boxers.
Yeah.
So boxing is all Mayweather knows.
Put up that comment by Damian so Rob can go off on him.
What did he say?
Which one? There's several of them.
The most stupidest thing he could ever say. No, not that one.
What he say? Damian must be drugged after that. Mayweather didn't beat Pacquiao foul. Pacquiao was drugged. Come on, bro. Right? Why people can't just take an L and say the man lost? Even Pacquiao. I kind of lost a little respect for Pacquiao that night. Is when Pacquiao said, oh, my shoulder was hurt. I'm glad Mayweather stood up and say, who comes into a boxing match 100% healthy? My hands hurt. My shoulder hurt. My back hurt. Don't nobody go into the ring 100% healthy. That's in boxing, UFC, wrestling. Nobody is ever. You can never ask an athlete to say, even in basketball and football, are you 100% healthy today? Hell no. My leg hurt. My ankles hurt. My shoulder hurt. I stretched the wrong way and throw my shoulder out. You know?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I hate when people make those excuses.
Listen, man. Hey, it is what it is. It ain't never going to go away. Listen, last topic for the day. UFC. Oliveira dominates Gaethje. Wow. I don't want to talk about that one. I want to talk about the one before that, actually. Chandler versus Ferguson. Is it Ferguson? Where he put that foot to his bottom part of his mouth. And oh boy, just went straight to sleep. And then in the interview with Rogan, he starts calling out Oliveira. He calls out Gaethje. But then he says if Dana White's not and them don't have the cognizance to put this fight together and they give it to somebody else, then he wants to go after his main dude, Conor McGregor. And Conor's like, hell yeah, I'll fight you.
Yeah, but he straight up said to Conor, I want you 100%, bro.
Yeah.
I want you at 100%. Take the time you need, take the training you need. I want you come back 100%. I want the old Conor McGregor. I don't want this new Conor McGregor that's been losing. Yeah, like he's like, I want the old motherfucking Conor McGregor. Excuse my language. But he's like, I want that old motherfucker. And that's what I like. I want to see the old Conor McGregor versus this dude. And that's gonna be one hell of a fight.
I think so. I think it'd be a great fight. Rob, what do you think, man? Are we doing it?
I don't know, man. Do you can McGregor get back to the old McGregor? That's the question. That's the question for me.
That is true because the last couple of fights
I don't know if Cowboy. If Conor can. We saw him lose to Cowboy. We see him lose to I can't remember who he just lost to. You talking about this man's wife. And you still talking mess after this man just broke your leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude.
Right.
I don't know if McGregor can get back to
my man broke his leg and he's like,
honestly, if you ask me, if you really want to be honest with me, I hate to bring Mayweather's name back up, but McGregor wasn't the same after he lost to Mayweather. I think that really hurt his confidence.
I honestly feel like you don't hate bringing his name back up. Like you said it with a smile and you laughed and everything. I love Mayweather.
Hey,
he don't piss people off.
Hey, I love to piss people off. Let me tell you.
You know what? Hey, I think it's been said. Once McGregor made all that big payday, he just kind of lost his edge. He lost his edge. He lost who he was.
He made the most money he ever made in his life, and now you asking me to come back to the UFC and fight for pennies of what he thinking is pennies compared to what he just made. I mean, that fight made McGregor. It started his business, his liquor business. It started him becoming a household name. Like Conor McGregor, people knew, but after that fight, he became a household name. It's like if I was him, I wouldn't even fight anymore after that. It was like, what? I've done everything now,
right?
And he's come back to fight. I mean, we saw Cowboy beat him with pretty much shoulder thrust. He just shouldered the man to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then after that, I guess the last fight we'll talk about before we get out of here is the Oliveira dominates Gaethje fight. Who's gonna fight next? Hey, interesting. So, man, Oliveira, man, what a hell of a fight, man. The guy obviously didn't make weight. He was a half pound off, so he stripped him of his belt. And if Gaethje wins, then he's now the new champion. If Oliveira wins, he's going to be still the number one guy going for the belt, which obviously he took it to him. I think he gave a couple of hits and then a couple of kicks, and then he hit that one in the middle. And then once he went down, it was just rear naked chokehold, call it ignite. And who does he fight next? Who's he going to fight for the championship, guys?
I'm actually pissed that they took his title away by just being 0.5 over. Like I understand the rules, but that's honestly retarded. That's dumb as shit. I would understand if he was at least like a pound, maybe 2 pounds over, then you take the title over him. But it's 0.5 pounds. Like, come on, bro. Anybody like, and then he went 2 different times back to his locker room and made weight on his scale. So like, how do you make weight on your scale, but you don't make weight on the actual main scale and weigh-ins? Like, it makes no sense. But
Honestly, it don't matter who his opponent is the next fight because he's gonna get back his title. Honestly, he's gonna say I never lost it. I should have never lost it by a petty 0.5 weight class or weigh-ins. So he's gonna get his title back, and that's why he ended this dude in the first round with like 130 in the first round by submission.
So you think it'd be a rematch for the crown?
Oh, it's not going to be a rematch. I don't think what's his name? I can't say his last name, but yeah, I don't think he's going to get a rematch, honestly.
Yeah, because Pride will be all over you. He was already all over me in the comments for me messing up. So go ahead and try to put it out there and let Pride make fun of it because he's already killed me.
No, I'm not going to do it. I think he said ganja. Jay said ganja.
Probably going to be Charles versus Islam. Okay. So what do you think?
Hey, you see Drake lost $400,000 betting on dude.
That's water money. That's water money to Drake.
I know, but Oliver, hey, he's funny as hell. He sent the message out to him like, "Hey, you should choose your bets more carefully."
Damn. So Rob, who do you think? Never read that. Who does Oliveira fight next for the championship?
I don't know, because he calling out McGregor too.
Yeah.
I think the problem with McGregor is the fact that people view him as Dana White's boy.
Right.
And they feel like, because of his name and notoriety, that's a big payday fight.
I was going to say, they bring in money for that fight.
Now Oliveira chokes out McGregor, then we know without a doubt that's probably it for Conor.
Oh, you got to imagine so. You really do. You really honestly do. And I think it should be. Conor just needs to keep making those whiskey commercials and keep it at that.
And stop.
Jay, you just want his whiskeys.
Jay just wants Conor McGregor to continue making his whiskeys because Jay can buy them.
Is it the proper 12?
Yeah, hey, you know what though? The proper 12 is actually pretty damn good. It's not bad.
I'm still a Jameson guy, but
hey, have you seen the Jameson Orange?
I have not.
All right, this is
they got a Jameson Orange out there. I haven't had it either, but it looks delicious.
And listen to ASAP Happy Hour over here.
Hey, there now.
Hey, that Jameson Orange though, it looks delicious. I'm probably gonna go out there and buy me a bottle.
Hey, you know me.
Yeah, it hits Jay to a sexy level.
I'm a hand myself, so.
Jay's like that hit that orange man that hits me on another level, man.
Yes, Lord.
You gotta get my wife away from me.
All right, man. Hey, we're gonna do a final thoughts and we're gonna wrap this puppy up, man. Frankie, what's your final thoughts, baby?
I really don't got no final thoughts. I just happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there that we didn't get to say happy Mother's Day to yesterday.
Yes,
I hope every mother out there had a wonderful Mother's Day. Now it's time for our day. Damn it, we gotta wait one more month. But man,
hey, they do fathers so wrong,
right? I know, right? Like they make us wait a whole month and stuff. Like kids are out of school, we don't get nothing from kids from school. Like
you only get one commercial. It's a Craftsman commercial telling them to
I don't even get a gift.
Tools.
Hey, let me tell you here's for fathers, man. Hey, the mothers. Hey. Happy Father's Day. Just make sure you bring home the paycheck.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
You know what your job is.
Hey, you just keep putting that money on the table and we're good. But if you don't.
Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there, though. My final thought is enjoy your basketball games tonight, guys.
Yes, Lord.
We got some good games tonight. I'm pretty sure. What is it? The Celtics and Bucks and
Dub Nation.
Yep, and Memphis and Golden State. So enjoy your basketball games tonight. Also enjoy your basketball. Your baseball. We got some baseballs tonight as well for those MLB fans out there. And for you wrestling fans, man. It's Monday Night Raw, baby.
Monday Night Raw. The Raw after Backlash. Hey, we didn't talk about Backlash. Shout out to Roman Reigns and the Usos, the Bloodline, for showing people that we the ones.
Facts. And shout out to Ronda Rousey.
Yes.
The new SmackDown Women's Champion by making the Queen Charlotte Flair say "I quit" in a very good match
By the way, that was a hell of a good match too. Honestly, it was good.
It was. And you know what? Ronda is showing her development as a wrestler.
Yeah, she is getting better. The more she trains, the better she's looking, and the better she's getting. Actually,
I like the realistic style she brings to sports entertainment. So,
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey man,
it was a good card though. It was a good card though. They had good matches on that card.
Damien, stop listening to Frankie about that Nala crap. I said I misunderstood.
He said, "Hey, you saw what Damien said? He said he get that Jameson orange for Nala." That's why
Frank is such an a-hole for that, man. That's why I hate Frankie, man.
I was over here dying laughing. I said, "Wow."
Hey, listen, I'm not afraid to talk about it. Listen, it happened. I made a mistake. Damn it. I thought she was a female.
I say something that's 2 months old and it carries over. Now people on ASAP, the crew on ASAP is making fun of Jay because I pinpointed Jay saying that he's a Bucks fan.
You know what I've learned about.
What was really intended was he was saying that the Bucks are the team that he's going for in this series, and that's what he was really intended. He's not a really Bucks fan. I just like trolling Jay because I can do that. I'm his brother from another mother.
You know what goes funny is
on the show of Unscripted, man. I can't wait to be a guest on.
Don't worry, you're gonna be a guest on there. You're gonna get some of this paint too.
You guys have some fun on Unscripted. I like this.
You know what I've noticed is, not everything apparently in our group chat stays in the group chat. It just leaks.
It makes the show.
It just leaks its ass over. And what I love about Frank is, I told Pride this. I said, man, when I say something in the group, when I say something on the show in the group chat about Pride, Frankie's Johnny on the spot, man. He already got, hey, listen, before I even get the fish sentence out, he does say, hey, Pride, Jay over here talking stack. He might want to get on the show. I don't even got to say nothing. I just do it, and then Frankie goes into action. That's how it works.
Frankie ain't going when it comes to Pride. We talking about some no pride, no show.
I bring the heat. I bring the heat to shows. You want to talk some trash to Jay and make fun of Jay? You come on Unscripted, and that's what we do. But you better bring the heat, because I'm gonna tell you right now, Jay ain't scared. Jay don't back down. Jay talks.
Jay ain't backing down.
He don't back down. Jay talks.
That is McLovin.
Yeah,
I might be wrong, but if I'm gonna go out, I'm going out with a blaze of glory. Hell with it, man.
Bang, 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 bang.
I'll tell you right now, man. Jay will make you go out angry. He will make. You know how many times Jay gets me angry? He gets me angry when he says that with baseball, he knows I'm a diehard Yankee fan, but he turns it around. He goes, Frank, you're not even a real Yankee fan. We know you're a true Boston fan. That is what pisses me off. Jay knows that's what pisses me off. I got to do what Jay be doing to me. I write him after the show. I be like, Jay, I'm going to smack you, bro. I'm going to go to Georgia, and I'm going to find you. I'm going to smack you, bro. You say I'm a Boston Red Sox fan again.
See, that's how he feels when you tell him he likes Luka, that he's a Mavericks fan.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, he knows that gets me, man.
Yeah.
Every time. It's funny because I say, Frankie, who's your team? He says Yankees, but I know behind his back he's got his fingers crossed because he's really a Boston fan. So it doesn't really count.
Say he a Red Sox fan? Big Papi.
I don't know. I hate the Red Sox.
Hey, Frankie got one of those reverse hats. One side is the Yankees, the other side he reversed it. He's a Boston fan. That's like Jay, though. When Frankie goes to Boston games, he turns his hat so he can blend.
Funny because it's just like Jay. That's why Jay became a guy that got the unscripted background. He don't want you to see all his Dallas posters of Luka in the background. That's why he got so close.
50. It's a newspaper.
It's so close to the screen now because he don't want you guys to see the jersey reflect from his glasses behind his laptop.
Hey, real quick though. My final thought is this though. Hey, Astros are on a 7-game win streak. We're only a half a game out of first. I promise you, before the All-Star break. Man, way before the All-Star break. I said the next couple of weeks, Astros will be back in first. And Frankie, Tampa Bay is on your heels.
Oh, God. You made my tummy. You just made my tummy tickle with that comment, man. I can't believe you just said that. You said the Astros in first place. God, they're so Astro. Oh.
Hey, say what you want, but I told you, man. Hey, we back, brother. Hey, Astros are back.
Oh, God. Oh, what a joke.
Well, on that note, folks.
Hey, hold on. Wait, no. Right, I need my final thoughts.
I thought you gave your final thoughts. How you gave your final thoughts? My bad. Rob, don't let me be a dick. What are your final thoughts?
Always skipping on people.
First of all, I want to piggyback off Frankie's note earlier. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I myself was raised by a single mother, so I understand, the trials and tribulations that women go through, especially trying to raise a man. Yes. So thank you, ladies out here. I know James Brown said the best. It's a man's world, but it'd be nothing without a woman or little girl. So, shout out to all you women out there that's holding it down. And, and future shout out to the fathers. Make sure y'all get y'all just due. Got nothing but love for y'all. So when it's y'all day, happy Father's Day for sure. And of course, Warriors in 5. So,
When you said Grizzlies in 7.
Let me do a quick shout out to the woman that did raise Mr. Rob Scott. You're amazing. Because the guy turned out well. He turned out well. Did a great job. Phenomenal job. Hella fine, good job. I will say this to the woman that raised Frankie. I know you did your best, but you didn't have a whole lot to work with.
Jay, I'm gonna pinpoint this. I'm gonna send it to my mom, and then watch what she said to you. You're gonna see an angry Puerto Rican sending you pictures of a knife with blood on it, saying it's gonna be you.
I'm just saying. Hold on, Blue. Hold on. I know you want food, but hold on. I'm giving Frankie the business. Hold on.
Big Blue say, I'm hungry.
Hey, literally, he will go to your face and he will say, you better feed me or I'm going to eat your ass.
My mom raised an amazing man. What other man is going to grow up, have 3 beautiful daughters and still be an amazing pothead?
That's
exactly.
What I'm talking about.
You.
That's right. I'm just saying the woman is a saint.
No, I don't want to hear it.
Good job.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, Jay.
Hey, look, listen. Blue don't want to hear it either because Blue want food.
McLovin.
Hey, hold on.
McLovin.
Hey, listen, no, and to my mom, who I love dearly, God knows I put her through the ringer, and she turned out a semi-good product, but she did the best with what she had. And, yeah, man, listen.
TBI did a great job, Jay. You're a hell of a guy.
She said, I don't want you no more. You put that uniform on and you serve our country, damn it. You get away from me.
Actually, it was my dad said, you freeloading asshole. I'm taking your ass down to Mets. You're getting out of the damn house, and I'm going to be empty nester.
Hey,
so here it comes. 4 o'clock at my bedroom door, not the front door, but the bedroom door. I got the recruiter telling me to get the hell up out of my bed. It's time to go. And that was the last I ever saw my parents for a really long time. But anyway, I love my parents. They're good people. They did good. ASAP in the morning. We will be back tomorrow morning. I guess Pride will be taking over and the show will be reputable again.
He's like, I guess Pride will be taking over.
This has been an unscripted segment of ASAP in the morning with our boy Rob Scott.
Rob's 2 cents, baby.
We've had Lennon Crisp, Stat Guy, and as always, my cohort from another mother, but we don't look anything alike except our Florida State hairline, Frankie the Yankee.
Frankie the Yankee. I don't want him in here on Ace.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we're making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces.